Welcome to the Zinnov podcast. You're listening to our Business Resilience series, where we bring to you conversations between eminent industry stalwarts and thought leaders from across the globe as they discuss their insights on overcoming challenges and the mindset that help them navigate the journey of crisis, resilience, and growth.
Welcome to another episode of Zinnov Podcast, Business Resilience Series. I'm your host, Pari Natarajan, CEO of Zinnov. Today, we have the privilege of hosting Krithika Bhat, the Chief Information Officer at Pure Storage. Krithika is an IT leader with over 20 years of experience in leading the development, deployment, and support of global enterprise solutions. At Pure Storage, she drives technology-enabled business transformation, setting overall strategy, and defining the roadmap for technology infrastructure and business applications. Welcome to the show, Krithika.
Thank you, Pari. Thank you so much for that kind introduction and delighted to be here this morning.
Great. So let's get started. As a CEO of stepping into a high-speed, high-growth tech company, what's your initial approach during the first 100 days? What are strategies did you use to understand and address the unique challenges of this new environment you got in?
Sure, great question, Pari. So when I joined Pure Storage and started as the CIO, one thing I was very clear on was that I was not going to rely on a one-size-fits-all approach. I brought a lot of relevant experience to the role, but I knew that I needed to tailor that to Pure's unique culture and environment. So with that in mind, I set about getting to know the team, the Pure business models, the unique challenges. And I was very focused on building relationships and fostering a collaborative environment. And what I found with this approach was that I was able to strike that right balance between leveraging what I brought to the table, but being very open to different ideas and experiences that the existing team had. Now, with these discussions and assessments out of the way, my goal was to build a strong foundation that would enable us to deliver that internal technology strategy in support of Pure's very ambitious growth trajectory. So I had three priorities, and in no particular order. The first was being a strategic partner for the business and collaborating on streamlining business processes, identifying automation opportunities, and generally setting direction, technical direction. Two was scaling and maturing the org. And by this, I mean bringing in the right leaders, the right architects, subject matter experts, the designers, the thinkers in the org, establishing centers of gravity, eliminating single points of failure, and right balancing between internal and external resources. And third was we were shifting from a project to a product and service-oriented model. So it was key to focus on business outcomes and use technology as an enabler, not a starting point. And for this, what I had to do was assess the maturity of our services and identify where to invest. So I think, Pari, that would summarize my first 3 months at Pure.
Wow. So it's a lot of heavy lifting early on in the first 90 days, first 100 days.
But very interesting. Yeah.
And with AI and machine learning rapidly evolving, as a CIO, how are you dealing with this transformation?
Yeah, great question. I think like most CIOs, I'm very keen to understand how AI will transform business operations while driving IT innovation. And I think the key challenge is identifying those right and innovative use cases that will give us the outcomes we need. Then we can invest in the technologies with a priority for me being we have to ensure that we have tangible and measurable business value. Now, at Pure, as a company, we have a three-pronged approach. One is transforming Pure with AI, and that is looking at how can we integrate Gen AI into our business processes. And we really, at the end state, want to have a Gen AI-powered enterprise, which is focused on improving productivity, enabling improved efficiencies, customer satisfaction, and even compliance. Two is facilitating efficiencies for our customers. And this obviously involves providing AI capabilities in our product. Now, a great example is AI Ops Pure. Pure One is a storage management system, our AI Ops Pure storage management system. And it's really designed to make the life of the storage administrator much easier by taking away day-to-day challenges. And third is powering our customers' AI projects by providing very robust Pure technology for that AI journey.
Wow. So it seemed like, Gen AI just started a year ago, but you've gone full swing in
Yeah.
adopting that across the different aspects of enterprise value chain, both on your product side, on your internal productivity side, as well as helping pure product and technology get better so that your customers are able to leverage it effectively. Amazing.
Exactly.
And data storage is a critical for driving AI adoption. And how is Pure Storage positioning itself to address the changing storage need of customers, especially in the context of these AI projects you talked about?
Right. Yeah. Organizations like ours are adopting all these technologies for various reasons, right? It's creating better and more personalized customer experiences, improving efficiency and automation, and then, frankly, driving growth and innovation. Now, these same organizations, because of the rapidly evolving technology, find it difficult to keep up. Forget, predicting what's going to come, but it's even difficult to keep up. And at end-to-end AI, the projects at scale are very complex. The storage and infrastructure needs vary a lot depending on where you are in your AI journey, all the way from data curation to training and inference. So having a platform that gives you the option to mix on-premise and cloud solutions really sets you up for success in the long term. You optimize costs. You also reduce energy and space consumption. So with Pure, what we offer customers is a single, consistent, flexible, optimized platform for your entire AI storage needs across the board. And you get predictable performance, you get ease of management and reliability. And let's not forget our customers' ESG goals. You do not need to over-provision storage with Pure. You get minimal upgrades and you eliminate e-waste. So if I dive into this flexibility aspect, I think we've established that technology is moving at a very, very rapid pace. Organizations do not want to lock themselves into rigid infrastructure. The need for optionality has never been higher, right? Having that ability to flex as your needs evolve. And lastly, that ability to shift, reconfigure, and repurpose your infrastructure is key. And that's where, Pure is focused.
Interesting. So make the organization a lot more adaptable and also sustainable in some level,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. And switching gears a bit, and you are working in this tech company, high fast pace, the industry changing so dramatically, and the needs of the kind of talent you need is changing quite dramatically. What is your leadership philosophy, and how do you inspire and motivate your team at Pure Storage?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So I'll start with the few things that are key to my personal leadership philosophy. The first is teamwork, right? When I set about building teams, I'm very focused on bringing both leaders and team members who complement each other, skills, experience, personalities, and support each other and learn from each other. Now, my observation is when you do this, it creates a sense of belonging among the team members, and then you get creativity, productivity, and ultimately that success that we're striving for. Second is collaboration. For me, collaboration, I like to say, is in my DNA. So I'm always focused on building very strong partnerships with my stakeholders. And what that means for me is I need to be a good listener. I need to take accountability and ownership. And this is for successes and, more importantly, for failures, for mistakes made. And forget this need to always be right. Just check the ego at the door. And I find with this attitude, it's much easier to build trust and understanding. Now, hand in hand, whenever I talk about collaboration, for me, hand in hand goes communications. And there you got to be open and transparent with your communications. And what I mean by that is really sharing knowledge, sharing insights. When you do that, you build a mutual understanding with your stakeholders, and it's easier to reach your common objectives. And last but not the least, for me, fairness and empathy is non-negotiable. We're dealing with people here. We're not dealing with robots. So that really is non-negotiable for me. I believe in that servant leadership style where the leaders are really there to help their teams, right? So decentralizing that dynamics between all team members, not being hierarchical, making sure everybody's voice is heard, that's really important. And when you do that, I think what you do is you enable and empower employees to give their best and do their best work.
Got it. So empathy, collaboration, communication, and building a complementary team seem like important. And one of the interesting thing you mentioned about leaving ego at the door, and especially when building high performance teams with people with high skills, I often find that harder. Like how does it work for you?
Yeah, I think you just need to say this is about the collective we. If you try to forget that me and the I, and you remember the collective we, I think then it gets easier to do, and it comes with practice too. We don't always have to be right. Let's focus on the big picture here. Yeah.
Got it. And if you distill it down to one essential ingredient, what would you say is a recipe for a true business resilience?
Ooh, I don't know too many recipes, Pari, that we can get done with one ingredient, but let me try to answer that. Um, Oftentimes we talk about dealing with change, but I'm going to say the key is embracing change confidently, right? Um, let's face it, we know that change can be intimidating and it can be frightening to people. And hence it's essential that we are prepared proactively to deal with the expected and the unexpected, right? And with that comes that key ingredient of adaptability. See, oftentimes when you talk about business resilience or resilience, what comes to mind is that growth mindset. When you have that growth mindset, right, folks don't think of change as an obstacle to overcome. They think of it as an opportunity, right? Hey, this is something, an opportunity for me to do something differently, learn something new. And I think that, is important for the growth mindset. And in today's world, where there are so many business uncertainties, if you have this mindset, then you can just deal with them better. And you can say, hey, there is some new stuff that I can do to deal with this uncertainty. So as leaders, how do we encourage and build that growth mindset? I think we have to give the teams the right tools to do it. And what comes to mind is that continuous learning, encouraging continuous learning. So I think as leaders, we need to give our teams that safe space. When I talk about continuous learning, it's not just saying, hey, I've signed you up for this training. That's all good. But giving them that safe space where they can experiment. It may be hackathons. It may be, hey, I'm going to break down a larger project into a smaller POC or a pilot, and I'm reducing risk for you. Go learn, try out something new. You can succeed. That's great. You can also fail. It's a safe space, but you're going to learn from that failure. So I think when you have this, you really build that growth mindset. And that's that, I think, essential ingredient for handling, business uncertainties and being resilient.
Got it. And I guess the growth mindset also allows you to stay relevant as a leader as things change,
Yeah.
and it's changing rapidly. And my final question, Krithika, looking ahead, what are some of the most exciting developments you foresee in the data storage industry?
Sure. I'll cover two or three things, right? Gartner predicts that by 2028, storage as a service-based consumption services will replace over 50% of the traditional on-premise activities. And that's up from about 15% in 2023. So that's definitely, one thing. Second, Pure itself predicts that by 2028, hard disks will be obsolete. And this prediction is really driven by our pioneering flash management solution called Direct Flash. that enables all-flash arrays to communicate directly with raw storage. Now, today, we ship 75 terabyte flash storage devices, and that's going up to 150 terabytes, and by 2026 to 300 terabytes. Now, that is the highest capacity utilization rate in the industry. By contrast, the industry is shipping 2 to 20 terabyte HDDs today in volume, and that may go up to about 25 to 30 terabytes by 2026. And of course, I'm going to wrap this up by talking about AI. What's really exciting is the integration of AI and machine learning to optimize storage management, predicting failures, and also for enhancing security. And that's really a game changer for storage efficiency and reliability. And Pure has just launched the industry's first Gen AI Copilot for storage. And what this does is it simplifies storage management at scale.
So it's very interesting. We touched a wide variety of topics in a very short time. And it's also interesting to see how Pure is using the AI internally. You're also using AI to improve the usability of your products, management of your products, and also your product is used by your customers in as they drive this massive, complex AI use cases. And also thanks, Krithika, for sharing your insights about your leadership skill. And I think it's very interesting for our audience to hear about the kind of leadership skills required in such a fast-paced technology company, because every company today is becoming a tech company, and the kind of leadership skills you talked about, again, is relevant for every enterprise, across the world. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. That was really insightful.
Yeah, and Pari, I will end with one thing that I should have added, right? As a leader, you have to be a continuous learner. I would like to highlight that. You can never say, I've been in this industry for 20 years or 30 years and I'm done learning. You have to be lifelong learners. And I think that's part of the journey and part of the excitement. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation.
I guess you got to unlearn things as well as you evolve.
Very well said. Yeah. Thank you.
And thanks a lot. Thanks, Krithika, for the super insightful conversation. Thank you for tuning into this episode. We'll be back soon with another leader, another exciting topic. Till then, take care.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Business Resilience Series. Stay tuned for more such interesting episodes. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from. To know more about Zinnov, visit our website, www.zinnov.com, or drop us a note at info@zinnov.com. Follow us on Twitter @Zinnov for regular updates on our content. Thank you again for listening to the Business Resilience Series of the Zinnov Podcast.